Hey guys, what's up? It's Katy and I'm back with another Marvel Contest of Champions video. And today we are going to be talking about Cavalier difficulty because I've been getting asked what my thoughts are on the Cavalier mode, and I've touched on it a little bit here and there in live streams, but I wanted to 100% it first and do the challenge mode before I made like a final decision on it. So to make this, well, rather short and sweet, I really enjoyed it, but I did have a few issues with the rewards, some of the content, and I have concerns moving forward based off the randomness that Kabam likes to do. Now, I did put out a tweet and a community post asking about your thoughts, but we'll get into that in a little bit because a lot of my thoughts actually coincide with a lot of you guys' opinions as well. So first and foremost, the content wasn't too restrictive in my opinion. Now, luckily, I do have a pretty decent roster, so I had great counters to most of the chapters. I really do like having to put some thought into my champion selection, and I also had a blast getting to use champions that I really don't get a lot of love for because, you know, they're like not in the main meta. So I loved that aspect of it. Now, the Cav difficulty reminds me somewhat of the variants. Now, my favorite chapter was the buffed up chapter because I love using Hyperion, especially in the 4-star challenge mode, because once I got up to 20 aptitude buffs, he was hitting like a monster. Now, my least favorite part was the Mutant Quest with the magic boss. Out of all the chapters, I felt this was like the biggest fail. I think it had the most useless global node. You know, using mutants that can bleed with 50% bleed reduced damage was still too much, except for Omega Red, obviously. Of course, if you didn't have to use a mutant, but you could just use a beastly bleed immune from another class. Now, I also really didn't like the magic boss because I felt like she only had 3 good options, whereas the other bosses had more counters. As for all of the other bosses, I liked that they were not massively overpowered. I do like that some of the paths were more difficult and thought-provoking, though, than the boss. So basically, I think Kabam gets an 8 out of 10 for the difficulty, node combinations, and interactions for this month's Cav difficulty. Parts of me really wish it were a little bit more challenging, but since it's not permanent content, you know, it's not like the variants or Act 6 or anything like that, I think making it too much harder could be problematic. However, whatever Uncollected was first introduced, some months were a lot harder than others, so I'm sure that will also be the case with Cavalier. Now, as far as rewards were, I feel like they were okay, and that's what a lot of you guys in the tweet poll and in the YouTube poll that I put out were really concerned about was the rewards, and I have to agree. So I think we need more 6-star shards, of course. I don't think getting 10k shards for 100% in Cav difficulty is really too much to ask. My biggest gripe, is with the 10% T5CC randomness. This needs to be a selector. For a player like me and for other players like me as well, you know, that don't get a lot of T5CC, I need to be able to get the class that I need for the few 6 stars that I have that I feel are, you know, worthy of ranking up. Now, I can't choose what 6 stars I get, so having more control over the rank ups would be more helpful. Now, since it is only 10%, I don't think asking for it to be a selector is really asking all that much. Needing just a few more fragments to form a T5CC for a champ I want to rank up, knowing that that 1 in 6 RNG always fails me is so frustrating, and I only get that chance once a month. So that's crazy, right? So if it were a 25% T5CC random, then I could deal with that randomness. That wouldn't be an issue. Now, let's talk about the 4-star challenge mode because I think that should be a selector as well. I don't think it's as important as having one for the 100% Cav or making the challenge one a selector and a Cav one random. I don't care. Just give me the selectors. Now, one thing I would also like to see in the challenge are some more generic 4-star rank up gems instead of the single 6-stone. What's up with that? Now, there are some champs that I would really like to try out as 4 stars, but I honestly don't want to waste resources on ranking them up because, well, for me and most players who are in the Cavalier, you know, bracket, whatever you want to call it, 4 stars are pretty useless at this point. So for example, I wanted to play around with Black Bolt in the buffed up chapter, but hey, I don't want to waste the resources to rank and level him up. So having that rank up gem would be much better. Now, I think it would be awesome if Kabam could give us a 3 to 4 gem for, you know, the first 3 chapters, and then a 4 to 5 for the 4th, and a 5th in the challenge mode. I think that would be really cool, and it would, you know, allow us to rank up our 4 stars to be able to use them more, right? Because we don't want to waste those precious resources on 4 stars when we could be using them on 5 and 6 stars. But other than that, I found this difficulty, you know, pretty fun. I'm glad we are finally seeing a Cavalier difficulty, and I think the addition of the challenge mode was a really, really good idea, even though I do think the rewards could be a lot better. And it seems that you guys at least agree with me. A lot of you guys don't think it is worth it for the rewards, so hopefully in the future, for the Cav difficulties to come, Kabam will buff up the rewards a little bit more to make it worthy of doing, because if you look at the Twitter poll, most of you found it to just be meh, right, for the rewards. And if you look at the YouTube poll, nah fam, a lot of you guys are saying it's not worth it to do for the rewards. And that's really disheartening. That's really disheartening. But anyways, guys, that's all that I got. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think of a Cavalier difficulty? What do you think of the rewards? Do you think Kabam should buff up the rewards? And how would you buff up those rewards? Let me know in the comments below and let's discuss. As always, guys, thanks so much for watching. If you guys liked what you saw and you want to see more, please remember to like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter and hit me up in the Discord chat. Thanks, guys. Bye.